All right, welcome back everybody to the Sports Bros. We're finally back. It
Mhm.
feels like it's been forever. As always, I'm Ethan, joined with Ryan, and this time filling in for Jordan, we have Patrick. So
What's
he
up,
knows a lot
guys?
about sports.
Big fan, guys, of the work you're
Thank you,
doing.
thank you, thank you. He knows a lot about sports, so it's good to have him on here. So let's just talk about last night's Thursday night football game. Obviously the Titans defeated the Green Bay Packers
Mhm.
27-17, led by one of Ryan Tannehill's best offensive performances of the year. Actually, I think he played very well. And something I wanted to note though is, as a Packer fan, it's tough because this basically puts us out of the playoff picture. But Christian Watson has had 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games, and he already leads all rookies in touchdowns this year. So it's exciting as much as it sucks that the Packers aren't that great this year and we're not gonna make the playoffs, most likely because we have the Eagles next week. Seeing the development of Christian Watson over these last 2 weeks just gives me hope that he can be just an elite wide receiver in this league. And he's definitely shown it the last 2 games. So that's kind of my take on last night's game. If you guys want to chime in.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like you were saying, Green Bay Packers. I'm so sorry, Ethan. They're doing okay this year, just okay. They're not doing great like they used to. But like you're saying, Christian Watson is coming out as a strong rookie target. Rookie, right?
Yep.
Yes, yeah, rookie target. And one thing I will say about Tennessee Titans is that yes, Tannehill did have a great game. 22 of 27, like 5 incompletions. He did have an interception though, but they won the game. And 333 yards, that's a solid amount for Ryan Tannehill. So yes, the Titans won. They beat the Packers by 10, 27-17. But do I think the Titans have enough to make a run in the playoffs? I do not think so. I don't think so. I don't believe in them enough because I think they rely too much on Derrick Henry. And with if you get a team that stops the run, like I think it was the Giants, they played the Titans earlier in the season and they just completely stopped Derrick Henry and the Giants won, like, of course. So when you have that, and obviously you need people to step up on the Titans, but it's hard to say because if you have 333 yards and you're 22 of 27, then that's pretty good for the wide receivers. But I think Derrick Henry's kind of carrying still. And as we've seen in past years, Derrick Henry carrying does not win a Super Bowl for them. So that's my thoughts on it.
Right, I agree. It was a tough one for your Packers, but as far as the Titans, I mean, I agree with Ryan. I mean, I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders. But with that being said, after losing AJ Brown, they really sort of compensated for that with obviously Derrick Henry is their star, Tannehill with a great game. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like they have the offensive weapons to maybe win the Super Bowl. As far as your Packers, I mean, it's tough. I mean, Christian Watson's really filled up for that Devontae Adams hole. Maybe a little too late because you're 4-7 right now. But I mean, the Eagles got in at 9-8 last year, so maybe if you go on a run, you might be able to take another loss there. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's at this point, I'm just gonna accept that playoffs probably won't happen. But I like to be optimistic about it. There's a lot of teams that look solid this year, and if it wasn't the Packers here, like we've just been riddled with injuries all year.
And also, there's not a lot of great teams just in general, obviously, also in the NFC. So I feel like that last spot, that 7th spot in the playoffs, is going to be wide open.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it was a tough loss, but again, anything can happen. So let me move on to the rest of the schedule. So that was a tough game for me, but now I can be unbiased. I can be emotionally okay for the rest of this. So we have the Browns taking on the Bills, which was supposed to be in Buffalo, but I don't know if you guys saw also, actually, before we move on, I wanted to bring up that Tennessee's offensive coordinator, I don't know if you guys heard, this morning was arrested with a DUI charge.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
After the game. So maybe, celebrating
celebrating
the offensive victory is a little too much there. I don't know. But yeah, something interesting to note about the Titans. But yeah, moving on, Browns Bills was supposed to be played in Buffalo, but they just had a blizzard. They were posting pictures about it all day today.
Yeah.
So that game got moved to Detroit in, obviously the Ford Field Dome. And because of that, I think the Bills are going to put up a lot this week, and I think they're going to beat the Browns by I'd give them 21. I'm seriously thinking it's a blowout. They just came off a really, really tough loss against the Vikings, a game they really should have won. Some people can say the Vikings got super lucky, but I just think it's Justin Jefferson being the best receiver in the league. I don't know. I just think Josh Allen being in a dome is just scary for anyone. And can the Browns defense even keep up with him? I don't think so. So I've got the Bills winning huge in this one.
See, it's kind of unfortunate that Jordan's not here to tout the Vikings this week after that insane win against the Bills. Great. I still have yet to see the highlights of that game, and I want to so bad because all I've seen is that catch, and that's pretty much and just overtime. But I want to watch the rest of that game because, man, 33-30 overtime, man, crazy game. But Bills lost that game, showed that the Vikings are indeed a powerhouse of a team. Even though I've said stuff against them before in this podcast, they are revealing themselves to be a little bit of a powerhouse. And the Browns are coming off a terrible loss to the Dolphins. They just got murdered. So, like, I agree with Ethan. I think the Bills are going to destroy the Browns this week. Although I kind of wish it was the snow game. I wish they were playing in the blizzard. That would be so much more fun. But whatever. I'll give it to the Bills. I'll say by 13.
Yeah, I agree too. I think the Bills are a great team, and I think when a great team takes a tough loss against the Vikings, they're going to bounce back. And it's not like the Browns are the most inspiring team anyway. Yeah.
I will also say though that the week before the Jets beat the Bills, which was huge game. Yeah. But that was a tough loss 2 weeks in a row for the Bills. So after a tough loss from the Jets, they didn't bounce back against the Vikings. Sure, the Vikings are a great team, don't get me wrong, but if they didn't bounce back after that week, are they going to bounce back this week? I think so because the Browns are just not great. But I don't know, when is Deshaun Watson coming back? Is it soon?
I think it's next week.
Next week?
It's either next week or like the next 2 weeks.
I think week 12 or 13. So this is week 11.
It's whenever they play the Texans.
He re-entered practice. So
yeah,
I think it means he's in like at least a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's whenever they play the Texans because the NFL
Texans
scripted.
Okay. Of course. That's smart.
Theory, but yeah, who gets suspended for like 13 games? Like such an odd number.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Literally an odd number.
It's week 13. So he was suspended 12 games.
Coincidentally, against the Texans,
against his former team, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny. So I mean that doesn't make a difference in this game, obviously. Will it make a difference in the future? What do you think? I feel like it definitely could. Deshaun Watson is a good quarterback, but when you take a quarterback out for a year and a half now, like, is he going to be as good? It's really impossible to tell. Sometimes you have players that come in and they're just as good as they used to be. Sometimes you have them, and I would say Antonio Brown kind of came back pretty well for the Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
But Le'Veon Bell was absolutely atrocious when he came back. So it really depends. It's player by player. So I think that Deshaun Watson is still like young enough. He's not that old, and he was a really dominant quarterback with the Texans. Well, dominant in a sense that he had really good stats. The Texans were not dominant.
Yes.
So I think that it'll definitely make a difference with Amari Cooper on that team. And now you've got Dameon Pierce, right, as the running back.
That's the Texans.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb.
Yes. Chubb. Yeah, of course. Sorry, I'm confusing my teams.
No,
now.
You're good.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, so you have even better. You have Kareem Hunt and Chubb. So you have those position players, and Watson's just a good quarterback. Hopefully he overcomes the loss, like the bad stuff, everything that happened against him. Hopefully he overcomes all that, and I hope he comes back and does well. But I guess we'll have to see.
Right. Deshaun's definitely better than Jacoby Brissett, but I mean, it is week 13. They have to play the Bills this week, and then next week they play the Bucks before they get him back. And their record's 3-6 right now, so they could potentially be 3-8 with Deshaun coming back, so it might not matter.
Yeah, I think they might have to scrap this season and just have the rest of the season be Deshaun getting back into form for next year, which is what I see them doing, because even if they split, like they'll be 4-7, and that's where the Packers are right now. And are the Packers making the playoffs? No.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be honest. So that's kind of
you got a chance.
We got a very, very slim chance. But
me every year with the Jets.
Yeah, but that's kind of where I stand. And I mean, I don't think the Browns are gonna hate that. They can kind of tank a little bit, get Deshaun back in form, have a good draft pick this year, and look toward the future. So that'll be an interesting game and interesting situation when he comes back. But moving on, I hate to say it, but I love the NFL, but this is like a sleep fest. The Bears and the Falcons. Like, who's I do like Justin Fields though. I really do. I mean, he's shown me something, especially within the last few weeks, that he can be an elite quarterback in this league. He just needs the right weapons, maybe the right system to go along with it. I'll take the Bears by 7 against the Falcons, but I do think this game will be, it'll be close, but it's like the Dirt Bowl. Like, who's watching this?
It's a good pick. I respect it because Justin Fields has been looking real nice in the last couple weeks. But give me the Falcons because the Bears have scored 30 plus points, I think, in the last 3 games and have lost all 3 of the games. If you score 30 points in a game, you should be winning. But if you score 30 points in 3 games, you should at least win one of them. So I think the Falcons are just going to score. It's going to be a close game, I think. And I think Justin Fields, again, will have a really outstanding game. But they can't close out the games. They can't win them. So I'm just going to give it to the Falcons. I'll say by 3. It's going to be close.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually take the Bears to upset. Their Falcons are favored by 3 at home, but I'll give me the Bears because the run Justin Fields has been impressive, and like you said, bunch of close losses the last couple weeks. I think they'll finally break through.
Perfect. All right. Now moving on, Ryan, you're gonna excuse me, Patrick, you're gonna like this one. Ryan, you're gonna like the next one. Let's move on to Eagles and the Colts. Like I said with the Bills, Eagles coming off their first loss of the season against a team they really should have beaten. But I was talking to Patrick earlier.
I would say so.
Divisional opponents are always tough like that. Those are sometimes, toss-up games. But I feel like the Eagles are, I think it was Jason Kelce said, like, we can't make any excuses for this loss. We just have to bounce back. I feel like the Eagles are superior to the Colts, especially this year. Jalen Hurts is, one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I think he's proven it. AJ Brown's just such a threat. The Eagles team's still one of the best in the league. So I'll take them winning this game by 14.
I would take the Birds too in Indianapolis. I mean, last game was pretty hard to watch. I mean, we didn't play well. The run defense definitely needs fixing, but there were also a lot of fluky mistakes that led to us losing, and I think we'll bounce back. The Colts obviously aren't that good with the new coach. They did win last game with the new coach, Jeff Saturday, but still, I don't think they're that great. So I think this will be a good game for us to bounce back.
The Colts are all over the place. I have no idea what to think of them. They beat the Chiefs and then they get shut out by the Jaguars. I think I think it was the Jaguars, but I'm not sure about that. But oh my gosh, they're just everywhere. I don't even know what to think about them because like 1 week they're insane, 1 week they're absolutely garbage. So I'll give consistency to the Eagles, and that's why I'll pick them in this game. I think it's going to be a bounce back week for the Eagles, of course. Give me the Colts by 20. I mean, it's Eagles by 20. Sorry.
You the Colts by 20.
Eagles by 20. Eagles by 20.
Yeah, like the picks, guys. Yeah. So moving on, like I said, you'd like this one. Especially with my opinion, you got the Jets and the Patriots, and I think this is a revenge game for the Jets. Obviously, lost earlier this year, the last time they played the Patriots. Patriots are favored by 3.5, but I think the Jets are going to really pull through. I think the addition of was it James Robinson?
Yes,
James Robinson. Okay,
yes.
I want to make sure.
Yeah.
James Robinson, I think he's really starting to learn the offense. I think he's a great running back. I think that's going to really replace the void that Breece Hall left after he got injured, which is super tragic. I just wanted to put that out there. Like, he looks so good this year, and now he's just out. So I'm sorry, Ryan, a tough loss for your Jets. But Zach Wilson still looking solid. And I don't know. I just like the Jets. I think they're going to go 7-3 this week. I mean, what a season they've had so far. So I'll take the Jets. I still think it'll be a close game, but I think they'll edge out the Patriots this time.
I like the pick. I like the pick, definitely. And I will, of course, pick the Jets. I've picked the Jets every week this season so far. And, I've been right more than I've been wrong. So I'm going to keep going with it. So the Jets, yes, James Robinson has last week, him and Michael Carter did very well against, not last week because they had a bye. Sorry, the week before. They did very well against the Bills running, especially in that fourth quarter. They just kept pounding. It was 76 yards rushing in that last drive. They were getting 12 yards per carry. It was crazy. They were just beaten down. The Bills couldn't handle the run. So, which is great to hear because the Jets offensive line has been known to have been absolutely garbage. And when you lose Elijah Vera Tucker and Mekhi Becton for the season, they're both out. And then you do really well with the run. That's really surprising. So hats off to those running backs and that offensive line. They're doing really well. But what I have to say is that last game, the Patriots absolutely shut down the run. The Jets could not run against them. Sure, the only score was no, not score. That was the week before with Brees Hall. So that was the week when Brees Hall was injured, the first week. So they didn't have him. Michael Carter didn't do much, and James Robinson didn't know the offense well enough, so he hardly played. Last week, obviously, like I was just saying, they started to step up their game. But what had to happen is that Zach Wilson had to step up in the passing game, and he didn't because obviously he had those picks, which were terrible picks. They were so bad. But he had his most passing yards in a game for his entire career. So what my guess is the Patriots are going to try to do is stop the run and make Zach Wilson pass, which is a great strategy, I think. Hopefully Zach Wilson can step up. I think he can. And I think now that the running game is going a little bit better than it was during that week, now that James Robinson is going more, I think that the Jets will be able to pull out this victory. But I think it'll be closer than not the Bills game, because that was pretty close. But I think it'll be a close win for the Jets. I really hope they can pull it off.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets in Foxborough too. This could be an ugly game. You got two great defenses and two inconsistent offenses. No offense, Ryan.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's going to be close, and I feel like I get why the Patriots are favored at home, but I feel like they'll split the series, and I think the Jets will get a revenge game here.
One more thing I'd like to say is that every game the Jets have won in this streak, the rushing game has worked. And the game where it didn't against the Patriots, it did not work. So that's all I have to say.
Hopefully the Patriots don't find more success stopping their running game. But I think that at that time, Brees Hall was still trying to figure things out. And James Robinson with the bye week, I think, just learned the offense and got his flow back a lot better. So
also coming off a bye week with a win against the Bills, that's good.
Big.
That's
Yeah.
big.
All right. Love the picks, guys, as always. Let's move on to Rams and Saints. Saints are favored by 3 in this, and if I do have to say one team that was more disappointing than the Packers this year, have been the Rams. I mean, oh my goodness, Super Bowl champs, and they're 3-6. I mean, Matthew Stafford's just been so inconsistent. Like, I don't even know what's going on with him. The team just doesn't look great. The only thing really working is Cooper Kupp, but who's passing to him? Like,
And he's out now.
Yeah.
and he's like great. So. That's the only thing they had going for him, and he's not even there.
Mhm.
So I guess I'll pick the Saints in this one. I mean, this is another tough one. Like, I'll pick the Saints by 3. I know they're favored by 3, so that's a very conservative pick. But like, this is another one. Like, I could flip a coin. I don't know who's gonna win this game.
I'm with you. I'm right there with you. The Saints up in the air. Like, they lost to the Steelers last week, 20-10. I don't know what to think about either of these teams. So honestly, I'm with you. Like, with the flip of a coin, I think anything could happen. So I'll go with the Rams just to be different by 3. Low scoring game. I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, I'll pick the Rams.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough team. A tough game. I don't think either of these teams are that good. I mean, the Rams have been really dependent on the passing game, and it hasn't really given them much success. And now with Cooper Kupp out, maybe they'll run the ball more. And I think they just have more talent, so I'll take them over the Saints. But yeah, I don't think either of these teams are very good.
All right, I guess we'll just move on
Yeah.
from that one. So now we've got Lions and Giants. Lions on the road, obviously, and the Giants have looked outstanding this year. They have a chance to go 8-2, which is just mind-blowing. I mean, what a great football season for New York fans, though. Let's be honest. I'll take the Giants in this one, but like, I don't want anyone to sleep on the Lions. Like, the Lions, I think Dan Campbell is like just really coming into his own as a coach. I think that DeAndre Swift is such an elite running back, super underrated. I think Goff he's inconsistent, but I like what the defense has been doing. Like, Aiden Hutchinson, I think the 2nd overall pick, he's just improved so much over the course of this year. I will take the Giants by a touchdown, but I think that the Lions can definitely make this a game.
Give me the Lions in this game. I'm going to take the Lions.
Okay.
I'm still riding high the Lions train from earlier this season when they were scoring a ton of points every game. Sure, they had a couple weeks in there. They did not score many points. But the last 3 weeks, they've scored a decent amount, and they've won most of they're 2 of 3 in their last 3 games. And the one game they lost, they had 27 points, so which is pretty good. Yes, the Giants are playing really well. I still can't ride the Giants train. I don't like. Again, when you rely so heavily, I can't even say this because the Jets are doing the same thing. But when you rely so heavily on Saquon Barkley on the running game, like I just don't have faith in Daniel Jones. I have more faith in Zach Wilson than I do in Daniel Jones. It's just he's had more time to prove himself, and I don't think he has. The one thing he has going for him is that he can run. Like I just don't have faith in the Giants. The Giants defense has been stepping up this year for sure, 100% as the Jets defense has. But give me the Lions to break past that defense, and I'll have them winning by a touchdown.
I'm gonna take the Giants at home. I mean, at 7-2, I still can't believe it. They've really surprised me. I mean, the whole NFC East has been really incredible, and that's crazy given the fact that, like, for the last 5 years, it's been pretty much the worst division in football. NFC least, they used to say, but can't say that now. I mean, they have a great run game. They have a great defense. All their games are close because of those two things, because the quarterback and the offensive weapons they're not elite. Let's just say. I mean, Daniel Jones, he can manage a game. So I'll take the Giants. I mean, to go to 8-3, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And one more thing, I saw this thing yesterday when I was scrolling through my Instagram feed that I think as of right now, 7 out of the 8 NFC and AFC teams would make the playoffs if the season were to end right now. All of the AFC East would make it, and the NFC only the Commanders would not. But they're 4-5 and 4, 4 and 5, 5 and 5 now. So that's crazy to think about. That if that were to happen, that just those two divisions were to be so good, that'd be crazy.
And before we move on, I mean, speaking of divisions, I just wanted to point out what happened to the AFC West, guys. I mean, seriously, we came into this NFL season thinking this could be the best division of all time. You had the Chargers, who were super hyped, and they're just mediocre right now. We had the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, though.
Yeah, right.
You can't blame
so good,
them.
yeah.
You had everyone thought the Broncos were going to be so much better, but that's just been a roller
They're worse,
coaster.
honestly. Like, they've been really bad.
Yeah, and then the Raiders. Like, what's going on with Oakland?
I'm right there with
or
you.
LA, excuse me.
Yes, you're right. Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
LV.
Geez, they just keep changing their names so much.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I thought this was going to be a great division, and then it's just the Chiefs. That's
just
it.
The Chiefs, yeah. So yeah, just wanted to, we're talking about divisions a little bit. Want to put that out there. Like, it's crazy to think about how, NFC East is emerging. Like, just how unpredictable.
Yeah, who would have thought NFC East is the best and AFC West is the worst coming into the offseason? Nobody would have saw that.
Exactly. All right, now I'm gonna choose my second blowout game. I got the Ravens taking on the Panthers. I mean, do I really have to say that much? Ravens defense looks solid. You got Lamar Jackson. I mean, you got an XFL quarterback on the Panthers. I mean, no disrespect to him. He's a starting quarterback in this league. Like, I respect that, but other than that, like you're just outmatched on basically all sides of the ball. I'll take the Ravens winning this one by 17.
Yeah, I have no faith in the Panthers at all. The Panthers are just looking absolute garbage. And who's starting quarterback for them?
They're actually starting Mayfield this week.
Okay, I was just gonna ask that because PJ Walker was like 2 of 10 for like 9 yards in the first half.
Yeah,
it was so bad. Then they took him out and put Mayfield in, and Mayfield won them the game. I think it was against the Falcons last week. Yeah, it was against the Falcons. Was that the week?
No, that was a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I forget what was last week.
Okay. Well, anyway, doesn't matter. Not important. But yeah, the Panthers not looking good. Ravens.
No, it was last week. You're right.
It was last week. Okay, yeah.
I was thinking of the Falcons week 3 weeks ago.
Yes. So give me the Ravens. The Ravens are they're looking really good, and they're kind of a scary team, to be honest. So I'm just gonna. I think they can make a playoff run, in my opinion, but they're gonna absolutely romp on the Panthers here. I'll win them by 20 points again.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Ravens too. Obviously the Panthers aren't good, but I like this Ravens team with Lamar. I'm a big Lamar guy. I don't appreciate any of the slander. Good defense. I feel like they might be like a star receiver short of like Super Bowl contention, but it's a good team, and I think they'll beat the Panthers.
All right. Moving on to the Commanders against the 1-7 Texans. Jeez, Houston, what happened? Oh, worst team in the league. Yeah, but I'll take the Commanders coming off. Sorry, Patrick. A very, very good win against the last undefeated team in the league. It was a big win for them. You saw Heineke getting all pumped up at the end. I'll take the Commanders by. I'll take them by 10. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but I think they'll kind of coast to an easy victory. I'll say I like Terry McLaurin. I think he's another guy who's super underrated in this league. Like we have so many great receivers that we're seeing, like Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, as I just said. But Terry McLaurin kind of falls under the radar. Never really had a great quarterback, but I think he's just got immense talent. And I'll take the Commanders by 10 in this one. Other than Dameon Pierce, the Texans don't really have much. I mean, I'm sorry, Davis Mills, but you're not him.
I'm with you. I'll take the Commanders by 10 as well. I don't think it'll probably be like a 17-7 game, maybe 20-10, something like that. It's not going to be very high scoring. I don't like either team, but the Commanders are coming off a good win, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah, I'll take the Commanders too with Taylor Heineke. He's playing, significantly better than Wentz was. And it seems like their offensive line has improved a bit too, because it was horrible at the beginning of the year. But yeah, they're 5-5. I mean, they're on a bit of a hot streak here after a big win. I don't know if they could do anything, maybe get in the playoffs, but I mean, we'll see with seven teams getting in the playoffs in each division starting like last year. I feel like that last spot is really open for any team, even if they start bad or if they're 500 the whole year.
Like it. All right. Now going on to, as I just mentioned, the AFC West. We got an AFC West battle between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. This, it's just I don't know. The Raiders
AFC
are
West blockbuster.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, everyone thought earlier in the season, Week 11 was going to be so great. This is going to be a game for the division. Not at all. I mean, the Raiders have just been so inconsistent. It's so tough to be like, I want the Raiders to win, or I think the Raiders are going to win. But the Broncos are so inconsistent too. Broncos are favored by 2.5, so I'll take the slight upset and say the Raiders will win by 7. I think Derek Carr's just got to find Davante Adams, really. I mean, I'm a Davante Adams fan, but seriously, that's got to be the change. Darren Waller's out, so you need to find Davante.
Give me the Broncos 6-3. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, honestly though, it's gonna be a low scoring. I hate every Broncos game this year. Every single one has been low scoring and terrible because the Broncos defense is good. So, or at least teams play bad against the Broncos defense. But that's got to say something at least for the defense. So I'll say that they're good. Broncos, give me it's so bad. I want like a 10-7 game. I really don't want that because I have Daniel Carlson, the Raiders field goal kicker, on my fantasy team. And he's been doing garbage the last couple weeks. No field goals, sadly. So give me the Broncos. I'll say 13-10. I'll stick with that.
I'm gonna take the Broncos too. I mean, neither of these teams are that good, but the one thing you could say about the Broncos is that their defense has been really good despite their offensive struggles. I mean, the Raiders have been so disappointing. Maybe the biggest disappointment this year at 2-7. I mean, people thought with Derek Carr playing well. I mean, they made the playoffs last year, right? So adding Davante Adams, you thought this would be a really good team. I mean, it's pretty disappointing. I mean, you can also say the same about how disappointing the Broncos have been and how bad Russell Wilson is or has been this season and how they're kind of stuck with him for the next couple of years. So, yeah, I mean, they have a good defense, the Broncos do, so maybe they'll be able to do something in the future. But, yeah, neither of these teams are very inspiring.
And I will also say for the Raiders last season, I'm pretty sure there were 7 games where the Raiders won on a game-winning drive or in overtime. So any of those games could have been flipped, and they would have been 2-15. How to do quick math there in my head. They could have been, if they lost those games, they would have been 2-15. So yes, they had the ability to put the games away last year. And yes, they've lost some close games this year, but they're just not doing anything. So that's just the difference between last year and this year. Just want to point that out, even with the addition of Davante Adams.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I can see the game going either way. So now we finally have a little bit of an interesting game. We got the Cowboys and the Vikings, 2 honestly really solid teams. And this is a tough one because it's being played in Dallas. And the Cowboys are 1.5 point favorites, which I think is nuts. Given how the Vikings have been playing, it's going to be hard for me to bet against the Vikings, guys. I mean, Kirk Cousins has looked solid. I'm not even going to lie. He's looked these past few weeks. He's looked like a completely different quarterback. You see him dancing on the plane and stuff, and in the locker room with I forgot what the nickname is for him, but where they got all the chains on him. And do you know?
I forget.
Oh yeah, but they got some nickname because he's just been playing so elite. Like I said, I think Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the league, especially after last week. He kind of proved that to me. Give me the Vikings by a touchdown, but it's going to be close. I think Dallas at home is, it's never easy to bet against the Cowboys at home. And I think, they'll coming off a tough loss against the Packers, I think they can really come back and, try to make a statement and ensure that, they're not just a fluke this year, that they have no chance of missing the playoffs. So I'll take the Vikings close.
I think the Cowboys are going to win this one. And no, I don't have a good reason why, but just because looking at some past scores, like when they played the Bears, they won 49-29. Like that's, even though the Bears are, sure, they're not good at all. They're a very bad team this year, even though Justin Fields has looked nice. We've already talked about him, whatever. Doesn't matter. But the Cowboys offense can work really well when they are clicking. And the Vikings are known to give up a good amount of points. They could give up a lot of points. Like last week, they gave up 30 points against the Bills. They won, but they gave up a lot of points. Cowboys defense is hit or miss each week. I think some games they're giving up a lot of points. Some games they're not giving up a lot of points. So it really depends week by week. But I think this is the week not this is the week, but the Cowboys will win this week against the Vikings. Vikings coming off a good win. Cowboys coming off a tough loss, close game. So I think the Cowboys will bounce back in this one by, let's say, a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams are, pretty good. They're top NFC teams going at it. Cowboys, I respect the Cowboys. I'm not gonna say I'm scared of the Cowboys, but I think they're a good team. I think they could be a Super Bowl contender with Dak back. I mean, they were even winning with Cooper Rush. They have a pretty good roster. I mean, the Vikings at 8-1 is pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know if I still don't know if I believe in them. Like maybe it's because they got blown out in week 2 against the Eagles, but maybe I just don't trust Kirk Cousins in prime time. In this game, I'm gonna take give me the Cowboys. I just think they're just a little bit of a better team.
No. Do you want to add something?
I was just gonna say it's probably gonna be game of the week.
Game of the week, yeah.
I think
it
really
is,
good game.
I think it'll be game of the week too. So now moving on, we've got another divisional game with the Bengals and the Steelers. Give me the Bengals in this one by, I'll make this one a little quicker, by 10. I just think Steelers kind of look lost. Joe Burrow's kind of finding his stride. I thought he looked good last week. Still missing Jamar Chase, but even without him, like I think we'll get the job done.
I'm going to keep this really brief. Bengals are just a better team than the Steelers. Steelers, sure, they won last week, but they're not a good team overall. So sorry to you Steelers fans, but it's not looking great this year. So give me the Bengals by 10.
Yeah, I'll take the Bengals too. I mean, obviously, without Jamar Chase, it's tough, but they do have like T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, which are really good backup receivers, and they're just a much more talented team. And they've put it together towards the end here.
Also with Joe Mixon, they had a bye last week, I think. But
he had
5 touchdowns, I think.
I went against him in fantasy, of course.
Of course,
he dropped like 50 on me.
Yep.
I was like, dude,
crazy.
Come on. So yeah, obviously lost that week, but it's okay. good for Joe Mixon. I will say that. So now going on to our Sunday night game, we've got again another. I mean, we're seeing a theme here. Another divisional game between the Chiefs and the Chargers. I'll take the Chiefs in this one. I mean, it's. I know I've kind of been picking the favorites, but it's tough to pick against the Chiefs right now. I mean, I don't know. Like, I just think Patrick Mahomes is such a great quarterback. I think he's kind of found his weapons. Like, Travis Kelce is number 1, but he's also starting to find Juju Smith-Schuster, which I think has just helped that offense so much. And I just think the Chargers have been so mediocre this year that I don't think. I mean, they could win. This might be an upset. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I could see the Chargers winning, but at this point in time, I just cannot bet against the Chiefs. So I'll pick them by a touchdown.
I was really tempted to pick the Chargers too because of the great divisional match they had last time with Justin Herbert like breaking a rib pretty much. We seemed to be in a ton of pain and almost coming away with the victory late in the game last last time. I don't remember which week that was, but it was one of the first
I
games.
think it was week 1. I think it was like the.
Was it? Was it the
was
first?
early.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
it was one.
One of the
Something
first
like that,
couple
yeah.
weeks, yeah, and they played against each other. Great game. It didn't seem like it was going to be close, but the Chargers kind of pulled back in the last couple minutes. But I will stick with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are just a stronger team. Like we were saying earlier, the Chargers have kind of been mediocre this year. But the one thing I will say about the Chiefs is I didn't expect them to be as good without Tyreek Hill. But now that I'm like thinking about it more, it kind of makes sense because obviously you still have Travis Kelce, who's like the number one target, but he's a tight end, so it's a little different than a wide receiver. But I think it's helping them that they don't have a number one wide receiver because defenses don't know. Like Patrick Mahomes can spread out the ball to whoever he wants because there's no one that he's wanting to pick. Like, sure, he does that automatically. He did it even last year when he was with Tyreek Hill. But Tyreek Hill being gone, it's like, sure, Juju is good and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I think, is with
McCole
him.
Hardman too. I
McCole
think
Hardman is with them. So like you got a bunch of different options and they're all like pretty good. And I think it's kind of helping them that he doesn't have a number one pick because defenses don't know who to prioritize, I guess. So that's what I'll say about the Chiefs.
Yeah, I would take the Chiefs too. I mean, they've been really good. The one guy you didn't mention, Kadarius Toney, the former first-round pick who they got from the Giants 2 weeks ago. He gets another week to look at the playbook. I think he's really talented, and I think I'm not really sure why the Giants would trade him. Maybe he had issues in the locker room or something, but I think he's a really talented guy. And call me crazy, but I feel like he could maybe fill the shoes of a Tyreek Hill type of position.
I will call you crazy. No, I'm just kidding. I can see it happening, but I don't think he's that good.
Yeah. I don't think he's as good as Tyreek Hill, but I think he can be really good. I feel like we haven't seen how good he can be.
Yeah, that's fair. I can get behind that, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Tyreek Hill might be the first player in a while to get MVP that's on a quarterback this year. That's my bold take. I mean, he's
been incredible.
I think he's projected to get something like 20,000 receiving yards, which would just like he's on pace for that right now, which would just shatter.
Yeah, I mean 2,000
the all-time record. 2,000, yeah, 20,000. I mean, 20,000 would be something, but yeah, like that would just shatter the old record. I'm pretty sure it's held by Calvin Johnson right now. You can double check. But yeah, I think that he's on pace. So it's gonna be tough to fill his shoes. But like as Ryan said, you can spread out the ball. And I do like Toney. I just felt like he never worked out in New York, but like he's definitely got that talent. It's just all about that application. Maybe
right. And he dealt with some injuries in New
exactly.
York.
And maybe having a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes helps. Like I think it.
But yeah, Tyreek's incredible. I mean, there's a lot of great receivers this year. It feels like you talked about Justin Jefferson, but also Tyreek Hill having an insane year. I mean. And you could go on for a while, but yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be like, oh, how could you say Justin Jefferson's the best wide receiver in the league when you got Tyreek Hill? But I mean, it's just so tough.
And you also have Stephon Diggs and Jamar Chase you have to put in that conversation.
Like exactly. Like you got so many of these young receivers that are just so talented. So moving on to our Monday night game. We have San Francisco 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals. This one's another what's up with the Cardinals? I know Zach Ertz was out last week, I'm pretty sure, and he might be out this week, which
I think he's out for the year now.
Oh, he's out for the year. Yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah. See, I got to keep up on my NFL news, even the teams.
Good thing Pat's here.
Yeah, I'm
just here to help out, guys.
But yeah, I think that the 49ers will take this game. I mean, George Kittle hasn't looked great this year, but yeah, I'll still take San Francisco. And I'll take him in a tight game, though. I think it'll be a 3-point game, but I'll still take the 49ers.
I think I'm going to give the 49ers the win here. Ever since Trey Lance has gone down with the injury, I think they've looked better, certainly. And I could have told you that from the beginning that we're going to be as good with Trey Lance. I couldn't have actually told you that, but I definitely thought it in my mind. But I think now also with Christian McCaffrey, it's like, it's different. It's a different team. They've got many offensive weapons now, with especially Deebo Samuel was like outstanding last year, but now they actually have a running back that works. So you have, and George Kittle. I can't forget about him. So I think the 49ers are going to win this game also because the Cardinals have just been so weird. So weird. They should be so much better than they are. Ever since they went 7-0 last year, they've been absolute garbage since. So I'm going to give it to the 49ers. And I think if the 49ers could find themselves, they could make another playoff run like they started to last year, even though they lost to the Rams. But it was a good game. It was a close game. So I'm gonna give it to 49ers. I think they could do something in the playoffs.
No, I totally agree. I really like this 49ers team. I'm a big Kyle Shanahan supporter. I like the offense. Adding McCaffrey is huge. I think Garoppolo, I mean, he's not a star, but I feel like more often than not, he does what's needed to win games. And they always have a great defense. And this Cardinals team just seems like a mess, to be honest. I mean, they seem like they have locker room issues. I mean, I don't know what's going on with them, but 4-6, they've been pretty disappointing. So I'll take the Niners.
All right, and those are all our games for Week 11. So, guys, we got a little bit of time left. Do we want to move on to NBA, or do you want to call it wraps?
Call it wraps.
Call it wraps.
Call it
Yeah.
wraps.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm getting a little fatigued, but it's great talking about. It's great being back. It's great talking about NFL Week 11, even though it's a little depressing that the Packers aren't great. You both got good teams this year, and I'm kind of stuck.
Oh yeah.
In
how the
mediocrity.
turntables have.
Great Office quote.
Yes.
But yeah, it's great having Patrick. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course, pleasure to have
It's
you.
like
man.
a dream come true to be in
Yeah,
the
I
studio
know.
with you
Our
guys.
our biggest fan.
I've
is
been
on the
watching
show,
all this
It's
time. I mean,
crazy.
it's awesome.
But
They
yeah,
say don't meet your heroes, but you guys seem cool. I mean,
yeah. You seeing me in class doesn't really count. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. From Patrick, Ryan, and Ethan. These are the Sports Bros signing out.